All right. Hi guys, good evening. This is Dr. Jenny Yusuf, physical therapist and doctor of physical therapy, creator and founder of Balance and Fall Support Group in Aging Adults, and vice chair of the Global Health in Aging Adults Special Interest Group of APTA. So it's my pleasure today to do another Thanks God It's Thursday. Every Thursday, we highlights innovators, academicians, physical therapists, and recently, we have more and more innovators nowadays that has great contributions for balance training and different balance exercises and apps. So we have the opportunity to interview. It's our first time to meet a master US figure skater coach, So I met her in LinkedIn and she has wonderful videos, and then it's really just watching, I feel dizzy already. So that's the reason why we need to make a person dizzy, and why it's happening to us. But to know more, we have Sheila Thelen, and she's based in US in Minnesota. And then we have the opportunity to learn more about the Vestibular Training Services, which she is the president and the CEO and a patent holder. Without further ado, welcome Sheila for the Balance and Fall Support Group, and also Fishigen PT and Wellness. Thank you so much for this opportunity. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me. What a wonderful opportunity. Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful.
Yes, it's our pleasure. So first of all, Happy New Year again. And then this is a really great opportunity for everybody. We had the Innovator Summit recently, and you really showed wonderful training about the vestibular, different samples of how you use it. But for all the other individuals not familiar, what is vestibular or why it's important? Why we need to learn about this. Can you tell us more about the basics? Thank you.
Absolutely. So your vestibular system, it's these three little semicircular canals. I just love this little model I have here. And it's basically your eardrum. We know where our ear is in our eardrum. It basically leads the information from your ear and your eardrum into this vestibular system. There are three semicircular canals that then lead out to the cochlea, which is people understand cochlea implants. You see them on people that are deaf and stuff. So with this, as it sounds great, but like the word vestibular comes from vestibule. So the vestibule is the entry to your home. Your vestibular is your entry to your brain. And really, it's connected to 20 major projects and processes within your brain. But the four we talk about within our company are the four big ones. It's your balance system, which is so important. It's how fast your brain's processing the information coming into your brain. It's also non-spatial disorientation, or like driving, so that you can really be aware of what's going on around you. And the fourth big process connected to this vestibular system is sleep. So those are the four main projects that we work on in working on training this vestibular system to help you live a great life. The inside of it too, it's kind of like a gel substance on the inside. So it's not like a watery substance, it's a gel. And as you start watching my videos today, you'll be able to see like why that gel moves just a little more smoothly as we spin you.
Yeah. Yeah. We're thinking, we know that you're a figure skater, but how did you come up in this kind of going in this route, like niche? So what's this passion about vestibular?
I'm obsessed. I'm absolutely obsessed. So really from the sport of figure skating, I've owned the harness company. So you can see my harness in the background. You can see
Yeah.
the little electric spinner module that I'll show in videos in a little bit. But I've owned the company for about 28 years. And I've been doing skating and spinning and turning and harnesses for all these years. But we started asking questions about our athletes on why figure skaters really show those four things. They have amazing balance. They don't get dizzy. figure skaters don't get dizzy. So it became really interesting to us compared to other sports. And we started asking questions and how come our athletes were better than other athletes, and how come ours slept really well, and how come they were fast processors and good decision makers and compared to other sports. And so we started asking these questions, and really we keep coming back to this vestibular system. So really I've owned it's an old company. We're a 28-year-old company, yet at the same time in 2020 we expanded into the general public. And oh my goodness, what an adventure that's been. So really in working with more sports and the general public has been an amazing opportunity for our company that we've really enjoyed the process.
Yeah. Before you become a coach, Sheila, have you been a figure skater yourself? Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
skated as a kid. Yeah. And
yeah. For what age?
oh my gosh, probably about 7 years old. And so I probably started a little late in figure skating. And because we have a lot of 3 and 4-year-olds in figure skating. So with that, I really loved it as a kid. And of course, I loved to spin, and you look at those figure skaters that can do laybacks and put their heads, their feet over their head while they're spinning. Really amazing athletes, but really good spinners with exceptional balance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so of course, that's what I'm thinking first. I know you're an athlete first before you become a coach. Now you're a coach, and now you see the value for your athletes and also for this Olympiads, I believe, to be trained. That's why you come up in this different kinds of innovation. So tell us more, some of your highlights or win stories about the different innovations that you have.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited about this. So I'm really going to start with just showing some
Mhm.
videos because it's a
Okay.
really visual product and really some of our results, which I think are really exciting when we look at the big picture of how we can really help stop falls and really regain that balance. So we talk about balancing, but we also talk about how that affects not only the aging person, but their entire family. So I'm going to screen share and I'm going to warn you in advance. It's kind of a messy desktop. I'm sorry. I'm that person. I'm so sorry. But I have kind of a messy desktop. But with that, we always talk about, you know what? I'm going to start out with a crazy video. I
Mhm.
know that sounds funny, but I'm going to start out with a crazy video just because it's fun to see what the athlete level is compared to our aging population. So look at the craziness of this video. So this girl is amazing. Look at the insanity of this rotation. So she spins, and at the end, she's going to show us she's not dizzy. I haven't altered the video in the speed. So this is exactly how fast she's spinning. And she's got axis and balance and proprioception, midline cross, huge vestibular load. And her brain is working so hard in the chaos. And at the end of the video, in my armpit, I'm hiding like it's called a Hiko stick. I'm going to throw it at her. And she's got a decision make the color I throw at her. Okay, so watch this. This is amazing. All right, ready? Blue. So she's showing that non-spatial disorientation. She's not dizzy at the end of all of that crazy rotation. She's not dizzy. And she had to decision make the color blue as I called it out and catch it with that Hiko stick. So this is the starting point. Okay. And I talk about this is the starting point of that huge vestibular training. Yet as we look at I'm just going to keep screen sharing. Now I get a messy desktop. I'm so sorry about this. I wish I was more organized
By
here.
the way, Sheila, what do you call on that kind of spinning system that you just showed? What do you call it?
So it's part of our product line of
Mhm.
vestibular training services.
Yeah,
So
what do you call it? Yeah, that one.
we call that our fly system.
Fly. Oh, because they are in the
Because they
air.
can fly.
Yes.
Although you can also do it where they don't fly, where you just gently turn the
Mm-hmm.
platter and then the harness is there for safety so people don't fall off of it. But then you still have the option of the flying motion, which I'm amazed how many people want to do it. Like
Yeah.
even my
Mm-hmm.
aging population and people with brain injuries are like, okay, I'm going to do like 2 or 3 weeks of just platter turns, get good at that, but then I want to fly like the kids. And I'm like, sure, you're 70 years old. Why not? So
How about the capacity? They're 70 years old. They can do that.
they
There's no
can
age
do it.
limit.
They can
But
do
how
it.
about the weight limit?
So the weight limit is 350 pounds. Although
Oh.
the 350-pound people really do just stay on the platter, but it's got a triple pulley system. So I'm really, really short. I'm 4'10". I'm ridiculously short, but I just picked up a 261-pound special forces guy, um, all by myself, like I just lean back and there's me lifting people up all the time. So I joke that I have a couple of big guys on my team that have no problem picking up 260, 70, 80-pound people. So, but at some point, to be honest, the people want to fly or they don't want to fly. But we came up with, to be honest, this rail system because a lot of people were overwhelmed. They're like, okay, wow, that looks like way too much, too scary. And at some point early on in the company, I kind of thought I had to tilt a whirl, like, oh, crazy rotation, everyone. And I'm absolutely wrong. So it turned into a game for me of how little spinning could I do and still see success on our balance mat and for our clients. So I'm going to screen share our new product, which is our rail system. So we've got the
Okay.
fly system like you just saw, and here comes the new rail system. Oh, these people with messy desktops, I'm so sorry. Okay, here we go. I was recently in Sydney. I presented in Sydney, Australia. So we've got a little Sydney, Australia in the background here. So here we go. So this is actually, this is my mom. Okay. And it's just one of my favorite videos of we're going to turn the whole system. So it just feels really safe and there's no fly option on this one. So I'm just going to control the speed and just step on the pedal and gently turn her. And with it, she's still going to show phenomenal success on our pre and post testing of the balance mat. But notice we've got that midline cross. So she's using both sides of her brain at the same time. She's doing all the balance. It's that standing balance. Sitting balance is very different than standing balance. There's a little vibration through her feet from the motor. So she really can feel her feet vibrate up. So her brain is really talking to her feet at the same time. But same thing, she's got to do the balance. It's the balance and the horizontal, vertical, yaw. She can move her head. We chit chat while people are doing this. And it's really fun to see how it's fun, it's easy, it's gentle. So where the kids can go insane on the gear, my aging population, it's very, very gentle. And I just think that's really important to really highlight how slowly we can do it. And then from there, of course, my mom's been training with me for about 2 years and with no falls. She recently did one of those Viking riverboat cruises for 3 weeks, and she was on the boat and off the boat and through Europe and cobblestones and buses and she didn't have any falls for those 3 weeks while she was on vacation. But I want to show you her pre and post test. So we use a company called Body Tracks, and Body Track balance mats are very common in the PT world, which is part of how we came to them. So I just wanted to show her changes in her balance in having worked with me. So this picture here on the right is actually her pre-test of 10 seconds eyes open. So in this, she is 10 seconds eyes open, just standing on the balance mat for 2 feet. Okay, so 2-foot balance. And she starts out with a 7.14 head sway. So my mom's head is moving a lot back and forth as she's standing there. And you'll notice in her post test, just after 5 minutes of spinning with me, very gently, just like the video you watched, she did about 3 sets of that. So in the end, she did about 20 turns. So she did like 7 or 8 and then rested and then another 7 or 8 and then rested and another 7 or 8. Just whatever she could feel comfortable with and nothing scary. But you'll notice she goes from a 7-inch head sway down to a 0.18. And that's an extraordinary improvement. On top of that, the 22 inches of foot movement drops down to 9.81. So more than half of her foot movement went away after having worked with us. And then from here too, you can see she's got 4 circles. She's got all this movement, and the red dot is her head. Okay, so she'll notice she's kind of moving off to the left with a lot of that balance. And here we go in the post test, she drops 2 of these circles, comes to center, and she's still moving a lot, but it's really centered and not all over the place like you can see in her pre-test. So exciting to see the difference between her pre-test and her post-test. And this is all we want to talk about. And when we talk about aging and we talk about falling and really a broken hip, my goodness, that's $80,000. And really, in a nursing home, and in a lot of these ladies and aunties,
Yes.
it's a 6-month window of really kind of misery. And so anything we can do to help stop the falls, of course, to stop the broken hip or the wrist or, all of those things that just make it so hard on the person, but also their family.
Yeah, so these are more on training, that's why the name itself. So you're training the vestibular system, and then the goal is for them, it's more on habituation so that the brain will be like used to it and improve and then stronger. That way, just changing position, they're not really like off balance, and then later on they improve their balance not to fall, and then knowing that fall is more in different factors, vestibular and then proprioception, as what you've said, environmental, and lots of stuff other than their medication. So that's really cool. So who else will benefit with your system? I know you have this athletes, that's a little bit younger population, and then now you're saying mommy just like her ages will benefit our older adults popular. Who else? Like other cases or other, what do you call this? Other cases, or not really disease, more on other musculoskeletal deformities that might benefit, something like that.
So the running statement in our companies, we work with everyone with a brain. So
Okay.
it's a big population. But the exciting part is we're working even with children with autism. We're working with people with Parkinson's. And oh my goodness, I just kind of tear up because I'm so excited about the results that we're seeing. One of my Parkinson's patients, we talk about like just trying to stay even and not decline. And she has young onset Parkinson's, and it's so hard to look at. And she worked with me for the whole 5 minutes, and she improved her balance. And these are the projects that we really care about. And the other little question I get all the time, because we work with athletes, we work with, we're starting some projects with the military. So we're so excited about it. But aging and traumatic brain injuries and a brain injury, like we're seeing really good results in that group, but also human performance. So we have kind of the rehabilitation side of the company, and then we have the human performance athletes. I just worked with a Navy SEAL. Like how fun is that to get to train with a Navy SEAL, and to see his balance improvement. So NFL, NHL, pro rodeo, pro motocross, these are some of the groups that are coming to work with me. But the results last about 3 days. So after working with me just that one time in 5 minutes, I know it sounds crazy, but you can feel your brain. Like after I spin you and you stop, your brain goes, oh.
Yeah, it will
But
be me.
oh my goodness, but I'm really, really gentle. And I always talk about the hardest part of the training for the coach or for the therapist is to be gentle. Like we start, the knob goes from like 0 to 100, and you start at like 15, barely turning. And then as you get better at it and as you get more used to it, we start speeding up and speeding up. So there's a little bit of a gamification to it, but the results last about 3 days. and that better sleep and that better balance and that alertness. People talk about having like spidey senses, like Spider-Man. They're just really alert. I always feel like I'm just on my game. Like I feel sharp and ready to go. But the results last 3 days, but at the 6 to 8 week mark, they really start to stick. So at that point, of course, that's where I tell my mom or other people like, you could drop back to once every other week, twice a month. You can still have those results stick. But I'm fascinated, but people are like, no, I'm having a great time. I'll still see you twice a week. And I'm like, okay, sure. Well, you can still keep coming back. So these are the projects that people have really enjoyed. And we talk about that whole mental training that's part of
Mhm.
your whole body that really it all ties together.
Yeah. So Sheila, regarding those, so how does it work? So are you just going to check on them or they're checking on you in your gym? And then you just like a regular visit, like as physical therapist, let's say I have a clinic, they come to my clinic. So just like you. So they will come to your gym and do the training, or you have this specific gadgets like the rail system that you sent to specific facility, or do they buy it for more training, or you sell it to a certain facility or something like that? How does
All
it
of,
work?
all of those.
Okay.
All of those. So like I joke that half our sales go into people's homes. And the gift
Oh, okay.
is money's different to everyone. But at the same point, that's great that it goes into someone's home. That's lovely. It'll help the family and some neighbor kids and a grandma. That's great. But in the same sense, in putting in one unit with a PT, a great physical
Mhm.
therapist like you, I can
Uh-huh.
take one unit that could help 1,000 people. So that's really the goals within the company, is that putting us in community centers and different workout areas.
Mhm.
I can't tell you who, but I just signed a huge contract with a huge workout company. Oh my goodness, it's a huge company. You'll be seeing our products in the next probably 4 to 6 months at a giant gym near you with 200 locations. So can't tell
Awesome.
you who yet, but probably in about 2 weeks, I can tell you.
Congratulations.
Super
Yeah.
exciting. But then we'll be in those 200 locations so people can work out their brain and their body at the
Mhm.
same location. So that's the exciting news coming. But yes, absolutely,
Mhm.
we're going into PTs and we really would love to be in schools. Like we'd really
Okay, yes. They will keep playing on it.
schools and community centers. Yeah, but the kids, it's so, especially for the ADHD kids, it's a really big improvement for the children,
Mhm.
especially with like ADHD and, just once again, that focus and that alertness has
Oh,
been
okay.
really exciting to see those results on those kids. So the group just keeps expanding. But once again, everyone with a brain really
Mhm.
can benefit from vestibular training. But my favorite example of that, the spinning teacups at Disney World? Like those
Yeah,
spinning.
yeah. Oh, even not in Disney World, even just a small state fair. I sat there and then once I tried it, I said, I'll never sit on there. I have a problem. I think I have a hypofunction.
I think we all do. But that's a perfect example of like, even at like 20 years old, 22 years old, that vestibular system's already starting to go downhill. And especially if you look at screens all day. If you look at screens all day and your head's not moving, especially
Okay.
for children, like they gotta have their heads moving. That's part of that whole vestibular
Yeah.
system. And so when you look at a screen all day and you don't move your head, that's affecting you neurologically. And I keep coming back to it's really affecting that vestibular system because the gel isn't moving through the system. And the other piece to the gel when we talk about the vestibular system is, if you've ever read a book while trying to drive, ride in a car, not drive,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
ride in
mm-hmm.
the car while
Yes.
you're reading a book. But it's two different inputs coming into your brain. So one part of your brain is saying, oh, we're reading a book. And the other one is
Yeah.
like, yeah, but we're moving. And so
Yeah.
that's part of where you get that queasiness.
Mm-hmm,
Your
mm-hmm.
brain isn't happy getting two different loads of information of that whole sensory processing. But same thing with vertigo. Like people with vertigo, oh my goodness, what happens is that it pools on one side, and then the gel isn't sitting evenly through the system, and that's where you feel that horrible feeling of vertigo, that severe dizziness.
Yeah.
So once again, you gotta train it. You gotta train this vestibular, just like you would a muscle. And we're seeing that more as we're talking about mental health and we're talking about brains. You got to work that brain the same way you work your thighs and your biceps. And, it's all part of the whole system really working together in harmony.
Oh, okay. Now I'm getting more the idea of it. So it's not like, because majority of what we have nowadays, especially for us physical therapists, is just like improving, assessing, and because they have already vestibular issues, right? And then we just assess and then do some training or some techniques to return the what do you call this, those crystals in place, so that's our goal, right? But for you, you're more on wellness and prevention because you don't want them to be on that. And I like when you explained that, just like the muscles to improve to have a hypertrophy and improve the tone, your vestibular system, you need to tone as well, something like that. Okay, I didn't sink in. Maybe my brain is like floating. Just I just have a haircut. Just like doing that hyperextension is already a little bit challenge for me. And then I remember my patient that the reason why she has the vertigo, and then really knows that her challenge is like what you said in the car. Just every time, I know, she's looking in the environment, and then the car is driving, like, so the changes of the environment, that's already makes her those like trigger her. So those is stimulus. So those are really a good patients. I like it. So congratulations in this innovation. That's really good. Can we go back to the ADHD kids? So you said they improve their brain, their function. What's a specific changes or things that we want to improve in them, knowing that what is specific as ADHD? Is it more on mental or
Okay.
attitude?
Okay, you're going to love this. So I'm really kind of the only person talking about this because remember, I work with about a million kids are using my product worldwide already through the skating and through the kids, so like I have so many athletes already on the product. So we put a bunch of kids on the balance mat. Once again, 10-second eyes open, 10-second eyes closed. In the pre-test, we spin them and then we retest them and we see the changes in that balance mat. So I'm kind of the only person talking about how you should score on this balance mat. Is you should score great with your eyes open. You should score great. And then when you close your eyes, you should have a lesser score. It is how we all agree that everyone should balance on these balance mats. Once again, 2 feet, eyes open, you should score great. Close your eyes, it should be a little lesser score. You should have a little bit of sway. It'll be a little harder. But interesting enough, and I'm the only person kind of putting these two groups in the same pool, because when I look at the balance mat without knowing their diagnosis, without knowing anything about them, these two groups score backwards. And it's children and adults with ADHD and people with brain injuries. Okay, so people that have had traumatic brain injuries, a car accident, a blow to the head, concussions, that whole group, they score backwards. So how they score on it is they score terrible with their eyes open, and they score great with their eyes closed because it's too much processing with their eyes open. So with the ADHD and the brain injury, they have their eyes open and they're like overwhelmed by the data coming through that it's just too much, that they kind of start to shut down. Okay, so I see that group and they score backwards. So that's how I can see that diagnosis in there. But to weirdly put ADHD in with a brain injury sounds wrong, but that's how I can't tell which one it is on the balance mat, but it's one of those two things. So then, of course, they spin with me. And then when they retest, they score great. Okay, I've like corrected it in the scoring. So now post test, they score much better with their eyes open, and then they still score well with their eyes closed. But that
Yeah.
eyes open score completely changes after training with me for that 5 minutes of once again gentle spinning. And we're working on a bunch of papers and more data and more people, and we're teaming up with the Geneva Foundation and the U.S. Army
Wow.
specifically to look at this data, because it's fascinating to see how I can reset it, but how I'm seeing it in their balance. And that's the kind of the exciting part. If you think about, if I could see ADHD in a child in their balance,
Mm-hmm.
but also a brain injury, and we can correct it without medication, we
Yes.
can get this whole batch of kids just moving through, and we're really excited about it. And to see improvements even with people with 13, 14, 15-year-old brain injuries, and even amputees. I've worked with amputees, like a high mid-thigh amputee, just trying to help
Mm-hmm.
set that balance. Same thing,
Mm-hmm.
big improvements with me. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why we're obsessed.
Yes,
That's why
lots of people. Congratulations. And when
yes, but
patent, you regarding the patent, so your patent holder, so they release your patency.
yes, we got a patent. And which is
Congratulations.
so exciting too, because like I always joke about I think it's hard to get a neuro patent. Like it's really hard. And my patent attorney was a little like, I don't know, Sheila, I don't know. And we filed, and within less than a 2-year window, we have our US patent. And so
Mhm.
with pretty much no hassle. And we were blown away by that. We're like, woohoo.
Congrats. Is your patent for each product?
So the
Rail and
original
then,
patent is the fly system. And then
oh,
we're
okay.
writing a new second patent. It's in process. Patent pending on that rail system. So we're excited about that. So that's coming with the same patent attorney. So hopefully, yay, intellectual property out of Minneapolis. So go us.
Congrats. Yes, congratulations. So with all those things, guys, I'm really excited. And thank you so much, Sheila. So any last tips for our balance and falls that are watching right now, especially in their home and things like that. And we just have winter. We have lots of ice recently here in East Coast. So that's why any tips that might be helpful for them.
Well, of course, stay moving. But the other piece too is, even if you're sitting, much less if you're standing, if you can keep your head moving, and it's little things like keeping that head moving, that once again keeps that gel moving through your vestibular system. That's the best thing you can do. And I feel like even with the vertigo people, or as we age, we think, okay, I'm going to hold my head really still so that I don't fall over. But that's the worst thing you can do, is to be still, especially in that head not moving. So I was talking about, like, you can see me in Zoom meetings, and you can see me in half these videos. I've got my head moving all over the place, just because it's so easy to just sit too still all day long. So in keeping that head moving, it's for sure going to help, and you're going to feel better, and your brain's going to process faster with it.
Oh, we really need, especially those head range of motions, activities, and extra. So can you say that because whenever we do reading while in the car, right? Texting and everything, is that a good training too? So you'll be used to it?
I don't know. I still get a little queasy reading in the car, just saying, my
Because they're
brain.
already feeling dizzy, or reading a book in the car and then they will feel dizzy. So
Yeah.
is that good? So
I
a
don't know.
training should be like different, right?
Yeah, I still don't like the back seat of the car. I'd rather drive, like, just saying, I get a little
Yeah, I
queasy.
think I need more training. I feel dizzy already just moving in because I'm always still. I'm driving and then just looking like that, just like that. Those are my movement. I'm always just like straight and then like that. No too much movement on my head and neck. It's more on the body for me. So I
Yeah,
think I need to train, especially as we'll never know. I don't even know how to skate. So, but congratulations. Thank you so much for sharing all these wonderful things. And congratulations on your team for all your innovations. You're doing lots of wonderful things for our constituents, let's say, for aging population, for different range of ages. So you just said that as long as you have brain, you can train us. Again, how can we connect with you, Sheila?
The easiest one is the website. So, the good old website, which is the easiest way to remember it is spinyourbrain.com. So it's easy, just spinyourbrain.com. That's all our connection stuff. And of course, I love LinkedIn. So come friend me and connect with me on LinkedIn. That's where we do the majority of our videos and of course academic talks, and connect with PTs and OTs and doctors and MDs and coaches and teachers. And it's all on LinkedIn. But of course, there's Facebook and Instagram, but really our focus is on LinkedIn. So come hang with me on LinkedIn.
That's how we connect to each other, right? In LinkedIn. Thank you so much again, Sheila. We appreciate you. Okay, guys, if you have any questions, connect with Sheila. She's available in LinkedIn, and you can check her website, spinyourbrain.com. .com, and that's so easy to remember. And if you have any concerns, if you are so interested for your facility or for your own clinic, so connect with her. So Sheila, thank you once again, and may you have a great 2024 to you and your team. And regards to your mom, she's a great model.
Great.
All right. Yes, and thank you so much, guys, for watching. It's me again, Dr. Jenny Yusuf, creator and founder of Balance and Falls. I hope I see you in CSM, guys. I will be there in February. And then, are you going to CSM, Sheila? In
No,
the
I'm not.
Boston?
No,
Yeah.
but maybe next year.
Yes,
In
yes. You
2025,
are.
I would love to do that.
Yes.
So
So
I will.
we will be there for the APTA CSM. So if you have any questions, connect with us in the Balance and Fall support group in Aging Adults and FishGen PT and Wellness. Thank you so much and take care. God bless. Thanks, Sheila.